All right, there. So we're going to learn how to take an audio file and slow it down to any speed we want so we can get it note for note in time. That's the most important thing, in time, and with all the tones ringing out clearly. That's our whole goal, is tone and timing, with technique kind of being the third tier. And that's what happens when we slow things down. We can get the tone and the timing right and then keep increasing the tempo. So we're going to learn how to do that with an audio file of any song you want. And then we're going to also learn how to change the pitch, because some songs the instruments are tuned flat, or sometimes the tape speed of older ones are sharp. So we're going to learn how to do both. We're going to learn how to change the pitch without changing the tempo, and we're going to learn how to also change the tempo without changing the pitch. So that's with software called Audacity. So we type in Google Audacity, Audacity, hit enter, and scroll to the free open source cross-platform audio software. So we got audacityteam.org. There's a shortcut link, download Audacity. Click that. Pick the operating system of choice. If you have older operating system, check out the legacy downloads. All right, so get out of that. And I'm going to be using You Really Got Me, the Van Halen version. So I'm right-clicking on that, and it says Open With, and I've already downloaded Audacity, so I hit that. It's going to load up momentarily, hopefully. Looks like it is. It's already running, so I'm going to do it another way. I'm going to open Audacity. I'm going to go File. I could hit Open. I've already opened it. I'm going to hit Open Recent. You Really Got Me. That's opening. All right, so now I'm going to play it. All right. So let's say I wanted to just get the intro. So if you hear it, that da-da-da-da-da, their guitars are tuned flat. So if I don't feel like detuning my whole guitar and I just want to learn that one section, so I clicked here and I dragged it. See that finger pointing? That's how you know you're going to drag it, all right? So let's try that again. Or I could go the other way. I could click here, finger pointing that way, drag. So the way you do that is you hold down the left click while you move the mouse. So you click, get that finger pointing, left click, and as you're left clicking, drag with your mouse that way. That's how you click and drag, okay? I want to change the pitch on it to raise it to normal pitch, so I'm going to hit change pitch. So they're tuned what's called a half step or semitone flat. To go into the theory behind that might be a little bit beyond the scope of this lesson. So that is covered in the theory lesson, what a half step up or down is. So they're tuned a half step down. So to compensate, we want to move it a half step up. Since this is in semitones, I'm going to put 1. 1 means 1 half step up. I'm going to compensate. Now, if you hear it, it's at another pitch. If you forget what that sounds like, I'm going to hit undo. This is the original. Okay? And then I'm going to put it back, redo change pitch, and here it is a half step up. Okay, so usually before you slow the tempo down, and if the pitch is off from the original, you want to change the pitch first prior to changing the tempo. Now, to change the tempo, we go to Effect, Change Tempo. Don't do Change Speed, because change speed will change it just jacks everything up. So change tempo. Let's say I want it at half speed. So -50 means -50%, which means 50% speed, otherwise known as half speed. Okay? -50%. I hit OK. And this is what it sounds like at half tempo and a half step up corrected. All right, so that's how it's done as far as just basics go. There are other things like when you hear some pointers, sometimes a lot of 80s recordings it was prior to digital recording. Anything 80s and before, even 90s and before sometimes, at least early 90s, they recorded to tape. So the tape speed from the studio, even converted, winds up being a lot of times sharp. So it'll be anywhere from an eighth of a step to a quarter of a step sharp. So think about this. If we enter, let me go into effect. So I'm going to just do it here. Let's say this recording is an eighth of a step sharp. So the way I would do that, let's say I just want to learn this. Now, if you wanted to get the whole song, they don't have it here. I don't think they have edit select all. I don't see edit select all. So what you want to do is hit Apple A, or if you have a Windows system, hit Control A. That selects the whole tune. So let's say I want to put this whole tune, let's say it's an eighth of a step sharp. I go to change pitch. So remember, 1 is a half step. So that means 0.5 is going to be a quarter step. 0.25 is going to be an eighth step. A lot of times it's a quarter step sharp. So if I went negative 0.25, that's going to bring this down a quarter of a step. So remember, if 1 is a half, right? If 1 semitone is a half step, therefore let's say negative 1 is down a half step, right? So therefore negative 0.5 is going to be down a quarter step. Negative 0.25 is going to be down an eighth of a step, and vice versa. So, say if it's a quarter of a step flat, the recording, so then you'd go positive 0.5. Positive 0.5 would be a quarter of a step up. And this is all done by experience and trial and error, but if you just pay attention to the original, you'll get it. Now, let's move on to how to loop things, okay? So let's say I just want this intro looped, right? So I go to the very beginning, make sure I'm at the very beginning, right? Now, this whole audio clip is huge, right? And it's basically everything's scrunched together. So what I can do is I can go to View. I want to zoom in and get the notes bigger and see where that riff ends. And it looks like it ends right about there. We're going to see how it goes, okay? So let me play it. Okay, so that's how you... So I drag an area now to loop it. I don't think it's in the edit menu. I don't think looping is. So the way you do that, listen very carefully, is you want to hit, I'm hitting Apple or Shift, I'm sorry. Let me see here. Or is it the space bar? Nope. Let's find out here. Hold on. It's Shift. Okay, so look at the play button, the green play arrow pointing right. If I hit Shift, you see that symbol for loop? Okay, so I disengage Shift, I hit Shift again. See that loop? So you hit Shift. While you're holding Shift down, you hit the space bar and listen to it loop. So that way you can get one phrase and just nail it over and over again. So a lot of times when I practice, what I like to do is I like to loop at half tempo. So I got my negative 50%. Here it is at half speed. Oops, I didn't loop it. So Shift, space bar. So that way you can practice something over and over and over again at half tempo. So there's really no excuse to say, oh, that song's too fast, I can't get it. Never say you can't. And that's what this is for. Let's use this technology to our advantage and learn how to really play. So You could slow this down to 60% speed, which is lower than half speed. You could slow it down to 70% speed. Of course, you hear how the audio sounds kind of jacked up, sounds warbly, but that's the best we got, short of programming things, which is really time-consuming. Eventually, you just kind of block out the audio quality of the MP3 that you altered because you're focusing on really just getting something down musically. So which is the whole point of this. You're using it as a trainer. So hopefully you got something out of this video and you will apply it to songs that you want to get down. Later.